glad that you are here today. Excited about our speaker. My name is Jenny Anchondo, and I am here as your host and moderator for today and each and every Thursday as we gather for these sessions and then put them out into the world for a replay for you to be able to continue to educate yourself and learn and spread more messaging. So today's session is all about that. I'm telling you, the next 3 weeks are going to be dynamite. They are going to be action-packed and filled with a lot of information that you are going to want to take notes on. So let me tell you about today's session. And I know many of you probably logged on just because the title alone. It's communication versus marketing versus advertising. What is the difference? I studied this in school and I still find it to be perplexing. So I'm really excited that we have Ileana Martinez with us today. She has more than 10 years of communications and marketing experience, and really in some very different avenues as well, which I find to be really interesting. She has worked for the Girl Scouts of the Desert Southwest as the Chief Marketing and Communications Officer. So in that role, she did several different things, spearheaded all public relations and marketing efforts for the council. She has also worked at the Raven Group, which is actually a national public policy firm. So just has a wealth of experience that she can bring to the table from there. She supported and worked on local and national client campaigns. So she's able to talk small business. She's able to talk big business. She developed graphic design, video editing, social media skills that have helped to elevate her work. And now, the best position yet, she serves as the social media and marketing manager for SARE National, where she supports the organization by designing marketing materials and developing and managing promotional content across their platforms. So the fun thing about today's speaker is that you and I have probably seen her work and been able to experience it before, which is really neat. She does, again, editing, maintaining the website. She also, just on a personal level, it's nice to hear a personal note about folks. She enjoys all things related to literature, film, TV, and music. So today, communication versus marketing versus advertising, but hang on, because you definitely want to register for next week. It's going to be all about setting up your social media profiles and pages. So if that's something you've been avoiding, just go ahead and avoid it for one more week because Ileana's going to walk us through it. And then the week after that, the 16th, the importance of email marketing. That is another one. I mean, I'm telling you, get on board for these. Let your friends know. Tell everybody to sign up because these are going to be important sessions. All right, Ileana, I know you have a nice, robust presentation for us today, so I'm going to mute myself and hand it over to you. And you guys don't forget to post your questions in the chat so that I can ask her on the back end. Okay, Ileana, take it away.
Thank you so much for that introduction, Jenny. It really is a pleasure to be here and to talk about something that I have studied for so long, but also I've just been thrown at by life and just being a person with numerous hats on a daily occasion in my career. So let's go ahead and get started because this is going to be a lot of information that we're going to try to condense into 1 hour. So I'm going to go ahead and start the presentation and share my screen. And
it's almost up. There you go. It's up.
Perfect. So once again, thank you, Jenny. Wonderful introduction. So let's talk a little bit more of what we're going to be covering today. So we're going to say, hey, there's actually a difference between marketing, communications, and advertising. We're gonna make you guys more enlightened when it comes to the world of comms. So we're going to go and take a deep dive in marketing, communications, and how it relates to public relations, advertising, which we're always bombarded by ads no matter where we are at. So I'm going to tell you guys are going to grow a media literacy eye by the time of this presentation is over. So, and just why knowing the differences between all of these fields are going to be so beneficial to you. And as small business owners, as a YouTube podcaster, or even as a nonprofit organization, it is so beneficial for you guys to know the difference between all of these fields. Because when you're going to start applying your business strategies or any type of strategies that you want to implement to your projects, you want to know the difference so that way you can make the best decisions and how to speak clearly to clients and potential customers. So that being said, wait a second, there's a difference. And so most of you who tuned in today, you guys are probably asking yourselves, I didn't even know there was a difference. And I'm so glad you guys came out today because I'm here to tell you, yes, there is. There is a difference between marketing, comms, and public relations and advertising. So I'm going to give a really quick shout out to one of my favorite college professors of New Mexico State University. and his name's Dr. Mack. I adored him because he was the one that enlightened my whole class on the differences between these three. So you guys need to remember, and if you guys want to write these down, marketing is to increase brand awareness. Communications and public relations is a third-party endorsement. And you guys are probably thinking, what is a third-party endorsement? Well, whenever you hear an ad, a political ad saying, my name is Ileana Martinez and I endorse this message or I approve this message, that right there is an endorsement. So we're going to take another deep dive onto what exactly that means. But it's not the same as advertising, because advertising's main tactic is to sell, sell, sell. So you have these three things that fall under an umbrella practically, but they're different. And each you can get a career out of. Basically you can get a marketing career, a public relations, which is what I did, journalism and public relations, and then you can get a separate career in advertising. So trying to condense 128 credit hours in a college into a 1-hour presentation, that was a challenge that I definitely wanted to accept. So let's take a look into our first bullet, which is marketing. So marketing is about finding out who's your ideal customer. So, and you're thinking, why have people been saying we need to market this, we need to market this, when in reality they're talking about we need to advertise this. So when people say we need to market this, they're going to try to find their customer and who their ideal customer is for their business, their podcast, their YouTube channel, or their nonprofit. Because you know what? If I'm a person that creates cosmetics for someone, it's probably not going to resonate well with kids that are from K through, I don't know, 5 years old. So you're going to want to start focusing and getting data, because marketing is very data driven. Now you need to go see, and how are you going to collect that data so you can find your target audience. So you use strategies to entice people for a specific target market to make an action, whether it is buying your product, signing up for your program and organization, or subscribing to your YouTube channel or your podcast. You want to find out who is going to be the best person to be your customer, your participant. So now that you can imagine your target audience, how are you going to engage them? And there are specific terms that you probably must have heard already, such as target marketing or targeted ads. So that's marketing right there on its own, because when we as people shop on our web browsers, my favorite store is Banana Republic. So it's probably going to be like, oh my gosh, Ileana, she likes Banana Republic. It's going to generate a target specifically towards me on ads about, hey, she likes clothing that is catered to women between the ages of 24 and 45. So we're going to put her in that bracket. And we're going to start sending her sponsored ads through her social media feeds, or it could be through other means of being targeted. Because it could also be like in your Amazon Fire Sticks, it could be on any type of device. And they're going to start saying she's going to want to be purchasing these products or these services or participate in any of these programs. So it is really, really data driven. Advertising is just one part of the strategy to a marketing plan. A marketing plan involves a lot of strategies and tactics, and we definitely don't want to confuse just one tactic of advertising to be marketing. So please, please, please remember, guys, that advertising and marketing, they fall under the same umbrella, but they're not the same thing. So you need to start putting in a marketing plan together, and you can hire a marketing agency to help you with your marketing goals. So definitely keep that in mind. So like I said, advertising is just one of the strategies that can help you with your marketing. But like I said previously, it's increasing brand awareness. So we're going to go through a couple of slides that I think you guys are going to recognize just these brands off of one color, okay? One color, and you guys will be able to recognize them super quick. So we're going to go straight ahead into using our eyes, because marketing is very visual and so is advertising, but they're not the same. So this famous green right here, I can imagine that people are already calling it out. So I'm just going to give you guys like 2 seconds, and we can all agree that us coffee drinkers know immediately that it's the Starbucks color, the Starbucks green. It is really, really big. Okay, next slide. We all know this red. But it's a little bit confusing because we can also think of a couple of other brands that are in red. But for those who like to go into a store, spend hours and spend money indirectly when we don't even have an act, when we wanted to go buy groceries and we come out with this beautiful vanity or cosmetics, that right there is Target for us. Target is filled with marketing strategies. You guys don't even know it probably. You're walking into a Target and it's already laid out for you so beautifully as to why you should be consuming, buying more products. Everything is a strategy and a tactic for Target to buy, for you to buy more of their products and for you to stay in their store longer. That's why it's basically a maze, essentially. All of these strategies are meant to be for the consumers. And that's one key component that you guys need to keep in mind, is that marketing is about consumer behavior. Now, this is a brand that some people will recognize. It's a little bit tricky. It's not necessarily a place you go to. However, it is very famous amongst millennials, Gen Z, zillennials. And it's a tricky yellow, but it's an app. And that is Snapchat right there. See, and what I'm gathering at here is that we can easily spot and be aware of these brands just by one single color. And I got the last and best final color. You got this blue right here. And if you guys don't know what blue this is, it's our Sir National Blue. Yes, we gotta be our biggest brand ambassadors sometimes, you know? If you're a business owner, if you are a podcaster, if you are a nonprofit organization, you are your biggest brand ambassador. And that's what we need to remember when it comes to just one of the components of marketing is brand awareness. You need to define yourself, whether you're a organization, a business, you need to define yourself and what is your image. Because when you develop yourself as a person, probably in your teenage years, you were unsure about what your favorite color was. Probably it was red. And then 20 years down the line, you're like, no, actually my favorite color is green and I'm going to stick to it until the day I die. Having that sense of identity is so critical. You guys have no idea because of the fact that people can easily spot you. And immediately when I saw that green for Starbucks, I was like, I already want an oat milk latte. Immediately. Or when I saw the red for Target, you guys, if you guys answered Coca-Cola too, totally okay. Totally okay if you guys said Coca-Cola, because of course red and Target red. But of course there's a little bit of a discrepancy when it comes to colors, but we were easily able to recognize those things. So you have to be your own biggest brand ambassador, but you also have to develop a key identity to your brand. And nonprofits, we have brands like Salvation Army, Girl Scouts. Everybody has a brand. And even if you're doing your own project, you yourself are your own brand. And I don't know if you guys have heard the terms already, like, oh, that's so on brand on you. That's that's marketing speak right there. Like, if, for instance, with me, I love to wear black and black is one of my favorite colors. And when I pick something out of the store, one of my friends says, oh, that's so on brand on you. And it's like, yes, you have to develop that sense of self to your organization, to your business, to whatever project that you're working on in order for people to easily recognize you and spot you immediately. So with that, advertising and developing a cohesive and well thought out brand is very important, guys. I can't stress this enough. And sometimes you don't even need a lot of resources in order for you to create your own self identity for your organization or for your brand. There are many resources out there that can be possible for you to do that. Like a graphic designer, sometimes maybe you don't need one. You can go on Canva and they provide resources for you that are free where you can develop your own logos and you could start developing your own color palette. You can have your own font as well. For instance, my presentation today, it's only using Sir National colors and it's only using the Sir National font because I want to reiterate how important it is for you to have your own brand and to own it as well. We don't want to let go of that messaging for anybody who's new here. So remember, strengthen your reputation. You got to promote your products and services to the right people. You want to touch on those people. Sometimes we want to aim for like the general public, but sometimes people don't need some of your products. And they sometimes don't go based on what you're offering them. And sometimes they don't, like for an organization, maybe super busy mom can't make it to a soccer related program because she needs to go and prepare dinner. Sometimes it just doesn't work like that. But it is crucial for you guys to find out the data and the metrics in order for you to find out who is going to be my ideal customer. Now, you need to build customer loyalty. Like I said, I'm loyal to Starbucks, but again, it doesn't have to be a big chain in order for you to grow that loyalty. Locally here in Dallas, we have La La Land Coffee. And how do I recognize them? Because of that iconic yellow, and everything is an emphasis to kindness. They are recognized as the kindness army. So with that, I've become a huge fan of La La Land, and now they're developing into and going to California. They're opening a new Santa Monica coffee shop. So like just with their use of yellow, it's so great and it's so iconic. So you have to build that customer loyalty through, hey, if I'm going to be offering coffee to people, I got to find out where those coffee people are at, because that's immediately your win right there. And you have to become a thought leader as well when it comes to marketing. You need to think, what's going to be the best way I can captivate my audience? What's going to be the best strategies I can implement? That's where you come in as a thought leader on what's going to be best suited for your business, your podcast. If you're going to start doing like a true crime podcast, what's going to be that thought process of how you're going to develop a cohesive episode that's going to entice listeners to tune in every week, every single time? There's free resources available, people. I'm telling you, the internet is so great when it comes to you developing anything you want, because maybe you probably have not thought about it, but other people have, and there's a resource for you in the internet. It's beautiful. And generating leads. What does that mean? A lead is a person that goes into your website, or it's a first point of contact. And that is when you start thinking, when they go to my website, what are they going to do? Are they going to look up how they're going to sign up for a program, or how they're going to buy my product? That is where, when they sign up to your newsletter, when they follow you on social media, when they actually buy a product from you, any of those things is automatically a lead. So what do you want to do with your leads, your potential customers, listeners, viewers? You want to retain them, and you want them to build that loyalty. So we're going back to that build customer loyalty. So whenever you get a lead, you want to retain them as much as you possibly can, because that's the first impression they're going to get of whatever you are offering. It can be anything, the show, a program, a product, any of those cases. You want to keep them with you at all times. You don't want to let them go. You want to build that customer loyalty. So now, when people say we need to market this, what are you going to say? All right, let's look into the data. That's going to be the proper response of how you're going to move forward after learning a little bit about marketing. So now we're going into our next step, which is communications and public relations. So, like I said, third-party endorsement. What does that mean? Third-party endorsement. Going back to political ads, of course, it's just an example of what it is. So it's basically an emphasis, or I don't want to say a positive review, but it's more of you get that support from the public, in other words. So you build and maintain relationships with various audiences, and you create that positive image. And let's definitely try to strive for a really positive reputation for your organization, your business, into the broader community. So this precedes marketing. Public relations precedes marketing. So it helps create the circumstances that will allow your marketing efforts to succeed. So it all goes into one into the other. They are separate. They go into one another. So for example, if a marketing effort is to attract volunteers will be less effective if nobody in the community has ever heard of you. Well, there you go. You need a third-party endorsement. So think of public relations as marketing is like friends giving, or like friends raising. You want more people to be on your side and start seeing like, hey, you know what? This organization that helps feed the homeless, they actually have a really great program where they offer Monday through Friday these meals. We really want to have more people talk about it. So even a positive review on your social media pages, on any Google page as well, that's an endorsement right there. You want to hear that feedback in order for people to give you that validity into the community. And you can have your possible endorsers. And when I say an emphasis on possible, it could be anybody, but this is where you have to start growing into the field of communications because they go hand in hand. You want to start reaching out to your community leaders and influencers. So you also have to think strategically on how you want to get your endorsements, because if you are a cosmetics person and you want to get a beauty influencer to try out your product, that's going to be the best strategy you could do. If you see an influencer who's local here that reviews restaurants or bars, they're probably not going to be the best fit for your cosmetic line that you are offering. So you definitely want to start thinking who are going to be the thought leaders and community leaders that are going to best align to my product, to my program. And that's going to help out and boost your visibility. And elected or appointed decision makers are just another category. So even if on a personal level, let's say a political figure goes into your restaurant and they give a good review, that's an endorsement right there. Community organizations and agencies as well. It's kind of like business to business marketing, B2B marketing. You're probably going to hear that a lot moving forward, such as LinkedIn. They use a lot of B2B marketing. So community organizations and agencies that work together, for instance, let's say the Salvation Army does a canned food drive with a Boys and Girls Club of America, and they work together, and one gives each other a shout out through their social media pages or through a shout out through the newspaper. That's an endorsement right there from another organization, and both of them are reputable. But if you were to have someone reputable like Salvation Army or Boys and Girls Club, it's going to be such a complete win for you in the long run because of the reputation that they have. And not just that, members of the media, and I think Jenny, as I see her nodding her head, members of the media are so crucial when it comes to a third-party endorsement because they have the power with that microphone to just give your product, your business, your organization a spotlight essentially, and that's press that's going to be developed through your strategy, whether it is a grand opening of your restaurant or if your nonprofit is doing a really great event. That is where we're going to have to start thinking, how am I going to get journalists to come and cover this great event that I'm having as a nonprofit? Well, press releases is when we're going to start seeing like, hey, this is how we're going to contact a local news station. I have to pitch to the media. I have to send out a press release, and I have to start building a network among community leaders, journalists, members of the community that are going to be essential to the development of my business. But remember, guys, it's definitely, you have to do it strategically, because maybe a true crime podcast would not be best suited for an elected leader. We need to think strategically before we think about these things. But I want you guys to learn really, this is crucial information for when you start putting in your strategies together, your business plan, or how you're going to expand that viewership and that your brand as well to your audiences. And it's very important that with communications, you're getting your messages across. And so last but not least, communication underlines both marketing and public relations, and just about everything else that what your organization does. The keys to a truly effective communications are consistency and constancy. So like cadence, practically. Repetition is really good. I mean, there's been so many of us that we've had to have had like constant communication and reassurance on anything that it is that we're doing, whether it is that your mom is yelling at you to do the dishes, or you need to have affirmations to remind yourself that you are a really great person. We have to continue that repetition, but you also have to be mindful of your cadence, because if you were to apply this like to social media and you're constantly repeating the same message over and over again, some people will tune you out and just be like, I'm gonna unfollow. And you have to remember as well, you're never not communicating. Right now, I'm using my hands to communicate. I'm looking directly into a camera. I'm communicating with this throughout this whole webinar, essentially. But whenever you're writing down an email or you are going to start reaching out to people for like marketing agencies, advertising agencies, you're going to be communicating a lot, and you want to make sure you hone down the messaging of your organization, your business. Like, what is the message you're trying to get across? What is the product that you created that's going to help people in the long run? Why is it so important? And you have to effectively make your message kind of like a mission statement. You have to make it very clear on what it is. Now, that when you're getting your message across, what can you do? So, like I said, when you want to reach out to members of the media, you can create press releases and start getting in touch with local media. Maybe you know someone who is a journalist or a blogger. Bloggers are definitely helpful as well. And make sure you start creating relationships with members of the media, whether it is on a personal level, but strictly keep it professional. You definitely want to have a sense of what it is going to be newsworthy, because even if you pitch 5 stories to the media, sometimes they're not newsworthy, but you have to start developing your media literacy and seeing what's going to be most effective for journalists, because you also have to remember there's multimedia journalists, meaning that it's not just a reporter and a photographer anymore. One person is now doing all the work of a photog and a journalist as well. So what's going to be convenient for them in the long run to cover your story, to cover anything that's going to be happening. So just in case, we need to develop that media literacy eye and knowing what's going on internally into news stations, radio stations, like any station practically. And you have to step into your social media sphere. If you're a little bit hesitant about joining social media, I'm very sorry, but it's a really great tool in the long run for you to stay in touch with your leads and with your customers. Sometimes you're going to find your endorsers through social media, and you have to start creating copy and re-emphasizing your message on what's happening within your organization. And you have to expand your network and start meeting new people. For networking is such a big key component. Like we said, word of mouth marketing is so effective too, or word of mouth advertising, I should say. It's so effective. And when you start developing your network, the people that you develop within your network are going to help you so much. And we have to remember as well, there is internal and external communications. Internal communications is what happens within your business organization. So there are actually different ways on how you communicate internally, both externally. So internally, you talk to your colleagues, your leadership on exactly what's going in with the operations of your business, whatever it may be. And externally, it's what you want to communicate to your customers, your endorsers. Everything of that scope is external. So internal and external communication is a real thing. Now, let's go into the fun part of advertising. Why is it so fun? Because we've had so many famous ads come through to our eyeballs throughout the years, and I put just some of the famous ads here. We have Got Milk. Oh my gosh, that was genius. And Wednesday was such a big buzz, but of course, with their advertising and airports, it's genius. And I can honestly say that whenever Christmas comes around, we always see this polar bear that's on my screen right now. It's no doubt in our minds that we're like, we know what time of the year it is, and we definitely know who is the one that created that polar bear. And Ms. Charlize Theron, beautiful, promoting J'adore perfume commercials. What are they about? We don't know. We just know that they are beautiful. They have the most beautiful people on these ads, and they're gorgeous, which makes us want to buy these products. So with Ms. Charlize looking fabulous and bronzed up as ever, we're just so enticed to want to try out this perfume because maybe it will make us feel beautiful no matter what. So with these famous ads, it is marketing. These are marketing campaigns, but these are ads. Marketing campaigns are just a big plan, these ads were just a strategy, a little component that goes into an effective marketing campaign. Now, it feels like someone wants to sell me something. And if you guys understood that reference, thank you. That is a SpongeBob reference, and I will always quote SpongeBob whenever I have the opportunity to do so. So advertising involves paying for space. So marketing is a lot of data that you're collecting. Marketing is definitely when you're paying someone else to spread the word for you. So we went from data collection, building an effective marketing plan. Now we're talking about just one key component, which is the strategy of the effective marketing plan. So in contrast, advertising is the exercise of promoting a company and its products or services through paid channels. So in other words, advertising, again, is the key component, just one of them. So it is also the most expensive part of your plan because advertising agencies, I don't know if anybody else watches Mad Men. I love Mad Men. You get an advertising agency that can do an effective ad campaign for you, and you're in the bag if it's memorable. We can all just immediately think, what is my favorite ad? It was meant to sell me something, but you just loved the visuals on it that you're gonna just remember it for the rest of your life. But you're gonna have to start looking at how you're gonna allocate funds in order for you to have advertisements. So whether it is advertisements through social media, having an advertisement agency do all of the hard work for you, provide you a pretty package and say, this is what we think would be more effective in order for you to get foot traffic for your organization or for your business. They're going to be experts. So definitely you can always think what's going to be best suited for my strategies. What do I have right now that I can easily utilize that's going to make this more efficient, and what's going to be my better investment overall? So now when people say we need to market this, you're going to say, do you mean advertise this or look into the data of this? So whenever I say we need to market this event, you're going to say, what? We need to market this event. So we're going to look into the age ranges, the people who are going to be more attracted to this event, or are we going to try to spread the word about this event? Because they're really, really different, guys. So I hope by the end of this presentation, you guys have a better understanding that it's like, no, they're really different. So you can go in and you need to know that there is a distinction. So, and also you can definitely tell people, I learned this through a webinar, that they're actually quite different. So to round up my advertising component, my advertising portion, it's marketing seeks to understand consumer behavior through research, while advertising uses market research insights to guide its communication strategies. So you see how everything just kind of connects there? It's like, you need to study the consumer behavior. What are people flocking to right now? It used to be a Hydro Flask and now it's a Stanley Cup. So we have to be very cognizant about what are the trends, what are people flocking to, and through that research, that's where you go into an advertising agency and say, we're seeing that everybody is going into the Stanley Cup phase and it used to be Hydro Flasks. How can we get into that craze and how can you help us spread the word? And that is where you have someone internally in your organization, whether it be yourself or anybody else, who's a copywriter who can start developing your communication strategies and developing press releases, media advisories, any of those key components that are going to help you spread the word effectively and make those key components of what it is that you're offering to the general public, whether it's a product, your organization, or your YouTube channel, your podcast channel. Any of those key components is very integral. So everything connects. It's all part of this massive umbrella that a lot of us people who study communications, we had to really, really understand all of these three distinct fields practically in order for us to make sure that we're focusing on just one and doing it effectively. So now, why is this information very important? One, it helps your business strategies. It really helps when it comes to planning effectively. If you want to invest money into advertising and into a marketing agency, it really is efficient before you start doing anything that you know exactly what it is that you need and what's going to best serve your organization in your business. It makes more productive conversations around these topics. So once you know more about these topics, you're going to have a better understanding of what it is that you're looking for. And that way you can help make, this will tie into point number 4, this will help you hit more of your intended goals and outcomes. And going to number 3, sorry, I'm going a little bit out of order. This will help communications between different departments and clients be more efficient. So sometimes you're probably going to go to a marketing agency and they're going to be like, yes, we can do advertising as well, but they'll probably maybe upcharge you because maybe their focus is just marketing and getting you that data, when in reality you were looking for an advertising agency this whole time. So knowing what it is in order for you to distinctly know exactly what these 3 components are, it's very crucial, because sometimes internally too, people will be like, hey, we need to market this, and I will just be like, by that you mean sell? And then they're going to be like, yes, and I'll be like, oh, you mean advertising, got it. So it's really like, for us nerds that know about communications, marketing, and advertising, we just want to know exactly what it is that you guys want us, so that way we can make sure the product that you want us to put out is going to be what you were intended, what you were looking for. And number 5, you'll just sound more like a pro. You can go into Jeopardy, you can do trivia games, whatever it is. It's always useful to learn this knowledge in order for you to grow in media literacy, to know what it is that you're being sold, and to know that all of these strategies that are being implemented through marketing and advertising agencies, they're working for you. I mean, they're working for me. I was just endorsing La La Land in this presentation and talking about how much I love coffee. So all of those things are really, really integral, and you need to start developing a media literacy eye. So next time you're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, start looking at what ads are being targeted to you. Are you being sold like fishing equipment because you looked up fishing once on TikTok? Or are you being sold different clothing products or cosmetic products? Look into that. You need to start developing a critical media literacy eye in order to know what is being sold to you, so that way you're smart with your own decision making as well, in a personal level too. Because sometimes, hey, we have to remove ourselves as like a small business owner, but think of ourselves too, like what's going to be the best fit for me. So this is a really famous quote from Field of Dreams: if you build it, they will come. So only to a certain extent though. You have to know what it is that you are trying to do with your communications, marketing, and advertising strategies. Whenever you develop an Instagram page and you're thinking, hey, I'm going to get followers if I don't do anything, that's not the way it works. You definitely have to start looking into your data on the people that you want to advertise to. So, and you need to develop a cohesive communications plan as well that's going to start promoting what it is that you want to promote on your social media feeds. You'll probably get bots. Those are probably the ones that are going to come flocking to you, but you have to actively do the work in finding out what it is that's going to be best aligned to whatever it is that's going to be your product, your channel, your organization. Any of those key components is going to be super, super helpful. So you got to find them. They won't come to you. And if they do, you're very lucky, or more than likely it's a bot. So before we wrap up and go to our Q&A session, I have these free resources that I want to share with you. So Canva can definitely be used for marketing and advertising purposes. If you're a one-person communications team like myself, Canva is very, very helpful when it comes to timing. So definitely, I do recommend, if you want to start developing graphics, if you want to develop a logo, Canva is your key to that. Grammarly is going to help you a lot when it comes to communications. So when you want to write an effective press release and make sure that you have grammar, spelling, and punctuation all lined up, we definitely go to Grammarly. I put the AP style book in communications and PR because journalists, that's what we use. And when I say we, is because I study journalism. But we use the AP style book as like our reference, practically like our Bible that we have to constantly reference when we write stories. So you really want to make it easy for a journalist that when you write your press release, it's already in AP style. It just makes it so much easier. And weirdly enough, the reason why we use AP style is because of the national reading level is really low, and therefore we have to make it in a certain way where it's going to be under, like, any news story is going to be understandable for just about any person that picks up a newspaper. So that is precisely why we use AP style. Now, social media pages, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn. Look into the strategies that are going to best align for you. If you are catering to people above the ages of 50, maybe TikTok is not the best direction you want to take. But if you are catering to Zillennials, Millennials, Gen Zers, TikTok will be the better route. Again, it goes back into marketing and to your advertising components. MailChimp, Constant Contact, and Emma are 3 big email marketing components as well. All of these are free resources and you can sign up for them. But of course, if you want to develop a bigger plan with them, they're going to charge you, of course. But these are really great for those who are just starting off with whatever project you have coming up, or for your organization, whatever events that are happening. These are really, really great resources. If you guys tune in, not next week, but the following week, I can deep dive into MailChimp, Constant Contact, and Emma. Those are going to be the email marketing platforms that I'll be talking about when we talk about the importance of email marketing. So now we can go into our Q&A, and I really hope you guys learned something new today. So take it away.
Oh my gosh, I know I did for sure. And this is something that I have studied and been a part of for a long time too, from the different side of it. We've been sort of working on the same thing, but from different sides. And I definitely learned a lot. This was incredibly helpful. You're getting some love and support in the chat and they're not showing up in the public chat, but in the direct to us chat. So just know that people are enjoying it. Here's one topic that we've had a couple questions on that hopefully you can address. How do you know that well, and we've learned that we've got to make sure that we're using the right word here. They were saying marketing efforts, but perhaps advertising efforts. How do you know that your efforts are working?
It goes down to how you're measuring your organization's participants. Are they skyrocketing? Your product, is it selling more? Are you developing more leads into your website? A lot of it is being measured, and that's where business owners, CEOs, marketing professionals that are working for organizations, we see that data come through whatever it is that we're investing in, whether it's an ad, whether it is any marketing campaigns that we make. We see that through the backbone. So for social media, you get to see those metrics, and we can deep dive this into next week when we talk about social media pages. You can see it through the back end. You actually get all the metrics, such as you had males between the ages of like 52 and 75 look at your Facebook page, or you have, if you're a business owner and you're selling a product, you could see how big your revenue is going up if you implemented one new strategy and it was probably working with an influencer. Maybe a beauty blogger posted that they really liked a lipstick that you created, and you're gonna definitely start seeing the difference between your revenue stream when you see that happen. So that's how you can start measuring little by little. But also a lot of marketers, like marketing agencies, have software that can measure that for you. It's a little bit expensive, I'm not gonna lie, but that's when you probably want to leave it to people that are just devoted completely to what it is, advertising or marketing, to measure those outcomes for you. Because again, you're investing so much money into those campaigns. You want to see if your ROI, your return of investment, is going to be beneficial to you in the long run. So for those of you that are just starting off, there are different components through social media where you could see it, and also how your revenue stream is going up.
I love how we are just we're getting a lot of questions here, which means that you're resonating with people and means that we're pulling in your messaging with it, which is great. It's interesting because automatically when I think about shopping and marketing and advertising, I'm thinking online business, but a lot of people in this group have brick and mortar stores or, businesses where you're seeing people face to face. How are you measuring whether your advertising efforts are working if it's just like foot traffic, for example?
So you definitely want to see what the pace is going to be after your ad goes live. So whether it is that you're working with an advertising agency or you submitted an ad to like a radio station or a television station, you want to work with that person that you're in contact with to see when is my ad going live. So that way you can jot into your calendars and start noticing if there's going to be a trend or an increase in foot traffic in your store or in your restaurant. That's just one of the more robust ways of doing it. There are other key components. Again, if you were to hire an advertising or a marketing agency, they can do it for you by seeing how many eyeballs were in the ad that saw your ad in social media, on the television station. I know a lot of news stations also want to create that sense of like reporting as well when it comes to like numbers and metrics, how much their viewership is, so that way the advertising can be more effective. So it's a lot that has to do with seeing your foot traffic and if it's increasing, but also if you have new customers, don't be afraid to ask them like, hey, how did you hear about us? Because remember, you are your own brand ambassador and you want to start developing really good relationships. So it never hurts to ask people like, how did you hear about us? And if they're like, oh, I heard you guys through a friend of a friend, well, there you go, you got a third-party endorsement. Or I actually heard from, or I actually saw this ad on television about your restaurant, therefore I'm here. There you go, that was the advertising. Or if it's like, you know what, one day I looked up a restaurant, a Mexican food restaurant, and this popped up into my feed on Facebook, and now I'm here. There you go, that was marketing at its best right there. So all three of them just worked so cohesively to bring you one customer, and that's how a more robust way to measure your foot traffic.
Totally. And I'll even add, as somebody that works at a TV station, that where people can do placements with the station, sometimes people will do a code. They'll say, hey, or a mention CW33 to get a free estimate or something like that, or a free consultation, or a 10% off discount or something like that. Then they can, know, okay, 10 people came in for that, or nobody came in for that.
Yeah, exactly. So it's developing that key network and that relationship with whoever you're working at. It's going to be super, super helpful in the long run.
This is a good question that came in. What kinds of marketing tactic is it? Is there a name for it? When companies have mascots, so like Carfax, Duolingo, Geico, what is that technique, or would that be advertising, or?
That would definitely be more increasing brand awareness,
Okay.
because if you look at the Geico logo, it doesn't have the gecko in it. The gecko was in place for people to be a marketing strategy for people to recognize immediately that a gecko is Geico. So Carfax, for example, it's the fox, the car fox, because when you look at the Carfax logo on its own, it doesn't have the fox. But because through that marketing of just having that mascot, people are going to easily remember what it is that they are offering, or what is their product, what is their service. So when they implement a mascot, it's more of a marketing tactic rather than an advertising tactic. But because the ads were using those mascots, that's why people are more and more aware of those mascots through the advertising, because they could have probably already made the mascot for Geico and just put it on their website. But through the help of ads, that's why the gecko is so prominent now for Geico. And like I said, just like the Starbucks screen is very memorable, the gecko for Geico is very memorable. So that's part of the increasing brand awareness. Like the Golden Arches too. Ronald McDonald, we all connect him immediately to McDonald's. It's a clown, but automatically he's a big component into the marketing for McDonald's, because we're trying to tap into different, how can I say it, audiences, I should say. So whether you have people that are going to McDonald's that are in a different age range, maybe implementing a clown was going to best get youth to come and join in on the fun for McDonald's. So it's a lot of strategies that we're not realizing, that it's because they want to reach the general public. They don't want to just limit it to just one audience that can buy their products or go to their organizations. Definitely the ideal would be the general public. So that's why they implement a lot of these strategies.
No, that totally makes sense. Now, listen, uh, among us on here, we may not be the heads of Geico or Starbucks or these big brands. We may be having smaller businesses. If somebody's going to be, gosh, when you start a business, funds are tight and you're kind of just trying to get by in many instances. Is there a certain type of effort where money is best spent when you're just getting started?
It all depends entirely on your budget and how much you're willing to invest. So, my biggest recommendation is to develop your plans, and you can easily do so. There's a lot of free resources. I know there's a lot of marketing, public relations, advertising experts that have a lot of tutorials on YouTube that can definitely help you when it comes to developing plans. And if you see that you can probably not execute them on your own and you would like to invest in someone else to help you with that, start looking. And it never hurts to do a phone call for an advertising or a marketing agency just to start getting quotes and seeing what it is that's going to be best suited for you. Because you know what? Sometimes people hire marketing agencies that are not even local. They can hire agencies that are across the United States that are going to be a little bit more expensive, of course. But if you hire locally, of course, it's going to help promote the local economy. You're going to develop a network because you're going to have already your cheerleaders in place that are going to be a brand ambassador, and essentially. So I would definitely recommend you start off with your plan. Look at how much your funds, how can you allocate X amount of funds, and start calling different agencies and seeing if an agency is going to be best suited for your plan, or if you can find resources that are going to be best suited for you at the moment. And once you start increasing your revenue, that's when you can start implementing an agency to help you with your work.
So as we're thinking about this and people are considering, okay, maybe I'm starting out on my own. I love that you had the mindset of brand ambassadors being just people you know, right? So it doesn't have to be, oh, I'm doing a paid advertisement on a TV station or radio station, which is a huge buy. Is there do you have any advice or tips for people who they don't have a big budget to give to their ambassadors, but that they want to really engage their friends and family?
It all starts, of course, word of mouth is so effective and it's so powerful. It's such a powerful tool. So, if you need to build your solid foundation, start with that first. Develop your logo, develop what typefaces you want to be using for your company, such as ours. Like everything I used in our presentation today was developed through a marketing agent, through a creative agency, actually. Shout out to ISP. They were the ones that made our color palette, they used our font, they were the ones that designed the logo. But if you want to start off like really from the groundwork and start developing that, you don't have to be a graphic designer. You can use Canva and you could start developing if you're marketing, if you're trying to develop a brand for cosmetics, and I'm saying cosmetics a lot, I'm so sorry. I'm just a huge cosmetics girly. I love makeup. So if you want to develop a cosmetics line, what are going to be the primary colors that you're going to want to use? Maybe purples, pinks, blacks, any type of blues like a sapphire blue. You want to start developing and envisioning what's going to be the best color that's going to be suited for your company and what is going to be the color palette. Build that solid foundation first. And then once you have developed a logo, you can start developing and creating your own social media pages and inviting your friends and family. A lot of my friends who have their own businesses, I actually call them up first and I tell them like, hey, I developed this page and let me just tell you a little bit more about it. This is really good for me to mention. Develop a 30-second elevator pitch. Our attention spans are going very, very low. So developing a 30-second elevator pitch that can help with anybody understand your product, your organization a little bit better is going to be so useful in the long run. I promise you that. When you're stuck in an elevator, that's why it's called an elevator pitch, and you're talking to someone and you're getting to know them and you want to tell them about your product, your organization, 30 seconds, boom, develop that, and you'll be so effective. So call up your friends and family, explain to them what your new project is all about. And then once you start developing your social media pages, you develop your logo, you use a sapphire blue as your primary color. You start developing marketing materials for that. And it could start off with 300 flyers using that iconic blue. And you could be like, hey guys, can you help me like spread these flyers out? Or let's go to a vendor market and let's stay there and develop a tablecloth in that sapphire blue and develop with a logo as well on that tablecloth. So little key components of the puzzle just start coming through, and that's when you're going to start having brand ambassadors, whether you are a one woman, one man show, or you have a team behind you. It's definitely critical for everybody to be on the same page when it comes to how the appearance. Like for instance, I used to work at Girl Scouts and we all wore green, and everybody automatically knew, hey, Girl Scouts, that Girl Scout green. You want everybody to have a cohesive look, and you also want to make sure that you communicate to everybody that they are representations of the brand. So they need to have a signature like type, I wouldn't say like a type of look to them, but they need to be aligned with the values and your core values for your business. So you definitely want to have great customer service. You definitely want them to be the best representations of your organization or of your brand. So make sure that we're not spilling candy in the lobby, as we say, like if they're airing out dirty laundry or if they're frustrated or anything like that. This is where customer service goes a long way, and that's part of the consumer behavior component that goes into marketing. So it really is all about that like connection that you make with your staff, your team, and with yourself too. So there's a lot of TikTokers and influencers that have developed their own brands by just even wearing a color. So it's essential that you keep that in mind, that when you're out and about, are you representing your own brand, whether it is you as a business owner or you as a mom or as a sister, as anybody, you are representing yourself at your fullest capacity.
I guess I am representing Sarah National to its fullest capacity. I feel like my blue is maybe one of the blues within the logo scheme.
Actually.
Oh my gosh, Ileana, this has been so great. I have so many more questions for you. And so that's why I'm really excited that we are going to be able to reconnect with you over the next 2 weeks as well. So here's the rundown, you guys. The replay from this session will be up by Wednesday on Sarah National's YouTube channel. And that channel is, it's a full college education on getting started with your business. You have that link actually in the chat right now. Also, Martinez, there's her email address. It's in the chat as well. If you want to copy that, if you have any questions or want to do follow-up, or we know the sessions for next week. We've got the importance of email marketing, and then sorry, that's the 16th. The 9th is setting up your social media profiles and pages. So these are going to be really, really helpful. And if you have questions on that, you can email her or reach out to her for further questions and follow-up. Ileana, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jenny. I look forward to seeing you next week.
Yes, me too. Okay, don't forget, you guys, I've been telling you to save the date. If you have not saved the date yet, that is on you. It is May 10th, the National Conference, 59th annual, by the way, creating gateways to economic equity. I cannot wait to see everybody there. And we will see you a week from today, same time, same place. Bye, everybody.